Welcome everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima and I'm a dating and relationship coach and founder of Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette and also of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Jaki Sabourin, and she's a love and dating coach at Engaged at Any Age. And today we're talking about two things that make a man fall in love and commit. But before we jump into it, Jaki, I would love for you to tell the ladies how you became a love and dating coach.
Well, first of all, Suzanne, thank you so much for having me on the show. And I was inspired to become a love and dating coach from my own struggles and journey to love. I mean, I went through a divorce and, that was a big painful experience. And I was, suffering a lot for like 8 years. I kept trying to date and having all these, I never really was connecting with men. And so I hired a coach to help me work through that. And I experienced so much healing and empowered myself so much that I wanted to give back to women and help them to have everything that I was experiencing, which is an amazing relationship with my Match.com husband, who lived a couple blocks away from me, but I never met him until I went on Match. We've been married for 3 years. And so I'm really passionate about empowering women so they believe and know that they can get engaged at any age.
Awesome. So, Jaki, tell us the two things that make a man fall in love and commit.
Oh, I love this. So basically, the way I like to look at that is they're not really things, they're traits. They're traits that you can develop in yourself. And the first trait is your high value status. It's your job to present and project and create this perception that you have a high value. And how you do that is to accept yourself. You have to accept yourself and to recognize, to not turn over the keys of your significance to a man. In other words, not putting it on a man or anybody else for that matter of how your importance and your personal value. That needs to come from within. When that comes from within, then you present this perception that you are a high value. And of course, any man that is looking for a woman to spend his life with wants a woman who has a high regard for herself, because he's going to introduce you to his friends, his colleagues, his family, and he wants to be able to respect you. And a man's going to respect a woman who has a high self-worth and a high value for herself. And so a lot of times that, you might be a successful career woman or you've had success in your life and you do have a high value of yourself, that if you don't have this other trait, you could come across as maybe a little too masculine, maybe more aloof, maybe even stuck up or conceited, but you're not at all. You just value yourself. You know your worth. So the other trait that's really important to couple with the high value is vulnerability. You have to balance that out with vulnerability, because you have to create this space of openness with a man so that he can come in. Because if you're just showing up as this powerful, high-value woman, he's going to connect with you as men connect. And you want to create a space of love where a man can connect, and that's through vulnerability. So vulnerability is really about sharing things about yourself, not being afraid to show who you really are, to show when you're suffering, to show when you're struggling, and share things about you that a man needs to know, so that you can inspire him to want to take care of you. I had a client recently that is dating a man, and she asked him, when do you think that I should put my snow tires on my car because it's getting colder now? And he said, oh, you should do it right away. And she's like, oh, I'm so glad I asked you. I was going to wait 3 weeks. And he goes, no, you need to do it right away. So in that moment, she inspired him to take care of her by just simply asking for his help and his advice. He really felt needed, and there was a place in her life for him. And so she probably knew when to put the snow tires on her car, but in that moment she made herself vulnerable. She asked for his help, and then that created more of a connection and more intimacy. And so that's how it's done, just accepting yourself for all your so-called mistakes and being able to share those openly and honestly and authentically, and being transparent with a man about how you're feeling and what you're thinking, and share that with him. I mean, if you don't like steak, then say, gosh, I don't like steak, I'm sorry, I'm just going to stick to fish. And if they don't like that, then you're like, you have to just be okay with it, not looking for him to approve of you. And men will really respect that you have an opinion and you're not afraid to share it, and you're being vulnerable about that. And so vulnerability and high value.
And I love that you said all that, Jaki, but I was also thinking in terms of that strong, independent woman who says, but if I appear vulnerable, then I'm weak, and what if she has a hard time with it? What would you say to her?
Yeah, and so I would say that then if a woman perceives vulnerability as weakness, then I would say, ladies, look at that, because that tells me that you're protecting your heart. You have a defense up, and when you have a defense up, it's like a wall, it's like a fence. And a fence keeps things out, right? It keeps the love and the that relationship that you want out. So you have to learn to lower that defense. And there's so much power in vulnerability, and I'll tell you why. And I think it's really sexy to be vulnerable, because what that really says is that you accept yourself, that you love yourself. You know you're not perfect. You know you've made mistakes. You've been hurt, and you're not afraid to show that side of you, that sensitive side of you that maybe has been wounded, because that's going to inspire a man to want to take care of you. He's wanting to protect you and provide for you in a way that a man can for a woman. So ladies, if you're feeling protective, you have to do the work around. That's a defense mechanism. You're being defensive of your heart. And if a man can't see your heart, then there's no place for him to connect with you, because it doesn't want to connect to your head. That's what men do. He wants to connect to your heart. So you've got to clear out those blocks and heal your heart so that you can open it up. And then that's what's going to create that space of love where a man can come in.
I love that. That was so beautiful that you said that. So these have been some amazing tips. So Jaki, I know you have a free gift for the ladies, so can you tell them about it?
Oh, I love sharing my free gift. Ladies, I have a soulmate assessment. I hope you'll take it. It's just a short quiz. And what it is, it's a quiz that will tell you what vibrational frequency you're vibrating at and how close you are to attracting your soulmate. Because we're usually vibrating at 3 different frequencies: a leader, which is more of a masculine energy; a giver, which is like overgiving; and a feeler, which is more like things just happen to me. Maybe you're a little bit in victim mode. So you want to quickly assess where you're at so that you can shift out of that. And I'm going to provide your assessment along with a feminine exercise to help you shift more into alignment so you can fast track your ability to attract your soulmate.
Awesome. Well, these have been some great tips. So, ladies, if you'd like Jaki's free gift, just click below the video. And if you're listening to the podcast, just go to singleandstilettos.com and look for Jaki's interview, and you can get a free gift. And thanks everybody for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. If you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free ebook on why men disappear without a trace, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.